UNA University for me. UNA, 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 UNA.
Yes, 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 yes.
UNA.
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 Yeah. Halo. 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 Welcome to your paradise. Yours truly, Diva Reed, representing for UNA, UNARepublic. Yes, yes, yes. UNA. Yeah. Hello, everybody. Welcome, 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 and welcome. Look at all these peoples in the house. Pharrell, Brian, Pharrell, Brian, Pharrell, Brian, you Pharrell, Camacho, LMJ, Fisherman, Little Man, Lack and David and Scott and Jay. Welcome. You know, I feel like that woman from Romper Room. Y'all remember Romper Room? Y'all non-millennials. Do y'all remember Romper Room? Halo Drugpa, Divine Feminine God Diva Laree, dropping jewels. Yes, I'm about to drop some jewels. Welcome everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you for joining me. I am yours truly, Diva Laree, with UNA University and UNARepublic. Today, what we're talking about, do you honor your word? Do you honor your word? We're going to get into this today, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. All right. Before I get into everything, I need to make sure I mention the membership package. All right. You all know about the membership package. This is our membership package. All right. What is this, ladies and gentlemen? This is making sure you're taking control of your trust. Halo, Sun Goddess. Welcome. This is making sure that you're taking control of your all capital letter name. This is putting your estate under your own jurisdiction. All right. With this membership package, you have the trust documents. All right. This is your trust. This is a powerful tool. You have your membership badge. You have your allodial ID that comes with this. Now, it also comes with an 8-week session. All right. An 8-session course is what I want to say. Comes with an 8-session course that you take those at your own leisure. All right. As fast as you want to go is as fast as you're gonna be able to get through it. All right. So, and it also comes, we're gonna put those documents on record for you because a lot of our students and our clients get blocked when they're trying to put these documents on record. Why do they get blocked? Because you got to understand this document right here, this is a law. This is higher than their law. So of course they're going to try to block you from putting it on record. All right. So we help you with all of that. Okay. Now, what's the price on it? $625. $625. If you're wanting to get that membership package with the information and the education and the filing for you, $625. I need y'all to understand something. Really, y'all know the $625, the education alone is worth more than that. You go and get these documents. Go ask a lawyer for these documents. You're gonna start at $2,500. And they're not going to give you no information about it. They're not going to give you any education. You're not going to know anything about these documents. Why is the education so important? I'm going to tell you. But go ask the lawyer for these, if they give them to you. you're gonna start at 2,500 with no education, no badge, no nothing. Why is the education important? Well, you got to understand this is a tool. All of these instruments, they're tools. If you don't know how to use them, the analogy I always give, it's like you walking through the woods with the biggest gun on the planet, and a bear jump out at you, and you don't know how to take the safety off this gun. Well, that weapon is not going to do you any good. It's the same thing with these documents. If you don't have knowledge of them and knowledge of how to use them, they're not going to help you. A lot of people be coming to me, Devil, so when I get this, I'm going to be free, Devil. Am I going to be free when I get this documents? No. If you got to ask me if you free, then you're not free. Let me just start it right there so you understand it. No, the freedom comes with knowledge. Once you have the knowledge and you know how to use these tools, that's when you have your freedom. Okay? Druckpa says, my question today is, should an immigrant keep their green card holders or become an American citizen? Druckpa, I'm gonna need you to go and get the UNA beginner law book. And I need you to understand what a citizen is. We're not citizens. All right? So to answer this question completely, when we're talking about a so-called immigrant, let me rephrase that. When we're talking about a trust, the trust don't care if you where you're from. The trust doesn't care what your color is, what your background is. The trust doesn't care how much money you have in the bank. The trust does not care, because you know what this trust deals with? You and who you stand under, what God you stand under. That's it. What God are you standing under? That's what this trust deals with. That is it. It does not care about your religious background or what your mama last name is or what your bloodline is. This trust don't care. The only thing this cares about is what God are you standing under? That's it. So when you put a trust on record and you're declaring that you're owner of your status, all that immigrant and American citizen and all that, you are becoming sovereign and you're standing under God, period. So when you're talking about American citizen, really you're talking about a U.S. citizen. You're talking about a U.S. citizen. And the U.S. does not have anything to do with America. And if you have not caught my session where I'm telling the difference between the United States versus the United States of America, and you don't know the difference, go and please watch that video. But if you ask me about United States, or are you a American citizen? No, you ain't no American citizen. What you are, you're talking about a U.S. citizen, and the U.S. has nothing to do with America. What you talking about, Devil? Because the United States of America. Again, if you don't know the difference between the United States of America versus the U.S., please go educate yourself. Watch the video. You can find us on YouTube at UNARepublic. Now I'm ready to get into this. Do you honor your word? I hope I answered your question, Druckler. Do you honor your word? Let's get into this and why this is so important. All right. I get people who call me and they say, Diva, I wanna write off this car note and this house note because I know they done did these fraudulent things against me and they done did this and that and that. Okay, now, and I get that. We want to write off the we want to write off these bills or whatever. But I need to go into something before we even start doing that. What is a report, credit report? What is a criminal report? What is a driving report? These are things that tell who you are. They are indicative of what your character is. And I need y'all to pay attention to this. because I get it. We feel like, hey, you're not supposed to be denying me my credit and you're not supposed to be doing this and that and that. No, they're not. But I need you to understand that these things that they have been doing, when we look at them, when we step back, because we have to step back in this game, because we have to recognize that all of this is spiritual. Okay? Because we can't be running around acting like we victims if we're really trying to rise up in this game. All of this is spiritual. So when we step back and we take a look at this credit report, where our credit report is so low, what we should be looking at is, what is this saying about my character? Now I get it. I get it. Some of us, we had some loans when we was in college and they shouldn't have been giving us loans because we was clueless about it. But what it's saying is that you took on a loan and then you didn't honor your word. You signed on a document. You said, I owe you this. And as much as they have been committing whatever fraud they have been committing, and they have, it due to our ignorance, and I'm not going into that today about how we got to this point, but due to our own ignorance, we have been signing contracts. And remember, ignorance of the law is no excuse. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. But now we're coming into knowledge about the law, and then some of us want to be upset and angry and give me some get back, and I'm pissed off. But listen up, because what a credit report, a criminal report, a driving report, it is only indicative of what your character is. Now, we get to the point where we don't have to deal with any of that. But before we push all that to the side, let's make sure we clean up ourselves on our way to sovereignty. This is important. This is important because I talk about the hierarchy of law chart, or yeah, and I'm gonna pull it out here when I find it real quick, and some of y'all gonna be like, it's backwards, devil. It's backwards. All right. The hierarchy of law chart. And this we was talking about a citizen. A citizen is all the way down here. You don't want to be a citizen of nothing for nobody. All right. But as a sovereign, you're up here. And this is important to understand. And you can get this when you go to UNARepublic.com. You can find the beginner law book to scroll down. But as a sovereign, what you're learning to do is to stand once again under God. And there are laws that you still are responsible for, and they're called universal laws. So we get to this point, we've got to recognize what we were doing down here, because we had a lapse of character down here. And we want to make sure we clean it up before we get up here and start walking as a sovereign. I'm going back to the question and the topic for today. Do you honor your word? When you wrote on this document that, yes, I'm going to pay you $20,000 for this car, and they're putting this on your credit report, what's being recognized is, does this person do what they say they were going to do, or do they not? That is what's dictating what that score is. Now, again, when you get to this point where you're sovereign, you're not even concerned about a credit score. You're not concerned about that. When you learn how to build your nation and you're in these sessions that we're giving, you're not concerned about this. But what you need to be concerned, you're not concerned about a credit score rather, but what you need to be concerned about is, why was that credit score at that number where it was? Because what the credit score is showing, either like for me, when I first came back in North America, credit score was a 0, because I didn't do business with them at all. I didn't need to. I didn't have to. I didn't have issues financially and all that. Still don't. But I wasn't doing business with them. So it was like, I had this woman, she tells me, ma'am, your credit score must be locked because it doesn't have anything on it. And normally when it doesn't have anything on it, it's locked. I was like, no, it's not locked. I haven't done business. So there's no frequency for them to tell. So like, y'all understand, no credit is worse than bad credit, because at least when you have bad credit, they know you have a frequency. They know what your frequency is. But when you don't have any credit at all, then they like, well, we don't know what you gonna do. So we can't trust you at all. So here's the deal though. Why is that credit score so low? Well, what it's showing on there is that you've entered all these contracts with people and you haven't honored your word. Okay. So now we need to deal with that first. Oh, now when we go into being sovereign, are we honorable people? Because if somebody gets hurt or harmed, or you say you're going to pay somebody, are you just going to try to walk away from them? Or you can't touch me, you can't do nothing to me. So then I'm just not going to pay you. Okay, we have court down here under these corporations because that's all they are, courts. Now, as a sovereign, you can take somebody else into court, but y'all need to understand when you get up here and you start not being honorable in your word, there's some laws up here that you're going to deal with. Pay attention. There's laws, these universal laws. You've got to deal with them if you're not honorable with people in your business dealings. This is why before we come from under here as a citizen, and we all, I don't want to be under the U.S. corporation, because yeah, they've done some things that they shouldn't be doing. They've been treacherous, but at the same time, as I've said, can we say that they've been a good steward? I would say yes. Steward of your funds. I'm gonna go back to this because some people are not aware of what I'm speaking on. The United States Corporation can be looked at as a giant credit union, holding the accounts and estates of all of those who consider themselves to be citizens of the U.S. corporation. All right, it is a credit union. And just like with any credit union, you are part owner. Well, how we get to be members of the credit union, Diva? When your mama signed that birth certificate, you became a partner of the United States Corporation. All right. You a member, you're part owner. All right. So with that being said, so your mother signs that birth certificate, and what is created is an estate or an account that's denoted by your all capital letter social security, your all capital letter name, and your social security number. That social security number used to be called a social security account, but it's in the state. It still is an account. They just call it a number to throw you off because they don't want you to know. So when I say have they been good stewards, yes, because they've taken these funds, which was that bond, that birth certificate or that bond, and they put the funds coming from that bond into an account. That still belongs to you. They had to do that by law. They didn't just put it in there, and they couldn't just get the funds from your social security and then just go and take it and run it and spin off, because it was about $1 million, a little bit under $1 million. So they couldn't just take the money and then just go run and spend it. I'm gonna buy a car over here and I'm gonna buy a house over here. No, they had to put it in an account by law. This federal law. And most of y'all know it because y'all have heard this term if you've done anything concerning your birth certificate, Hague. It was the Hague that put that in place. So y'all had heard of non-Hague and Hague countries. Well, they're the Hague countries, and the Hague put these laws into place that, in particular, all these countries who are participating, they have to abide by these laws. And if somebody comes to you with a birth certificate, you have to take those funds and put it into an account denoted by that child's all capital letter name and a social security number. Okay, they did that. They're good stewards. Not only did they take them funds and put them in an account, they started trading those funds on whatever the stock market is. Okay? And then those funds started compounding over your years. So that 1 million went to 2 million, went to 3 million, went to 5 million, and it's exponentially expanding. Your mama didn't know to do that. Your mama didn't know to take them $1 million and to put them in a thing and accumulate it over a period of time. They've been good stewards. Yes. I would say they've been good stewards. Have they been fair stewards? No, they have not. They have not been fair. They have not told the truth about the fact that the estate belongs to you and that you have access to it and you're supposed to have access to your credit. They have not been fair about not blocking you from having access to your credit. No, they haven't been fair, but they've been good stewards, though. They've done what they were supposed to do. Because if they hadn't, then you couldn't say, hey, I got an estate. And I'm not going into that today because today I want to talk about, have you honored your word, or do you honor your word? Because now we're talking about the trust. Instead of us being upset about, oh, they tricked us and they took the money and they made us slaves. They didn't make us slaves. What they were trading on the stock market is the all capital letter corporation. All right. Now, what does this trust do? This trust gives you access to it. This is where you're claiming ownership of your trust. And so when you claim ownership of your trust, well, now it belongs to you. We should be saying thank you. Thank you for putting that in an account and allowing it to accumulate over this time. Now I'm going to take it over. I appreciate your work. All right. Thank you. Instead of being angry and upset. Now, getting back to this. Some of y'all now, y'all want to be sovereign. Y'all want to jump up here, but you haven't cleaned up this spiritual baggage that you have going on. What is the spiritual baggage? Honoring your word. That's spiritual. That is a spiritual thing. When you say you're going to do something, do you do it? And as a sovereign, meaning somebody who is master of self, you must stand in honor. If you don't have integrity, please don't come from under this corporation. Stay where you are. You're much better down here, because when you get up here and you start acting as a sovereign and you don't have integrity, you don't have honor, you're going to come under a whole bunch of hell. You're going to wish you were back up under this system. You're going to wish. Because once you get here, you're claiming that you're self-governing. But there still are laws that you have to answer to. Ignorance of these universal laws is no excuse, and the universe is not going to have mercy on you. I hope y'all understanding that. So when we're looking at a credit report, and I'm, somebody's saying, well, I want to do an A for B and I don't want to pay for this bill okay. Let us make sure we get the spiritual energy right, because I know what I'm looking at. Well, Diva, everybody had a problem, because I lost my job and I lost my this and I couldn't pay it and I couldn't. You just telling me that you're not sovereign. Pay attention now, because now I'm going into what does it really mean to be sovereign? What does it really mean? When we're talking about sovereign, once again, we're saying that you are self-governed. If you are self-governed, then you know how to manifest. What? Wait a minute. You know how to manifest. That means you know how to attract things to you. So when I get people who are coming at me talking about how, again, this is why I want people to come into the university, because these documents, they're very powerful. They are very powerful. And I've had people to misuse and abuse the powers of those documents, and that's not good. I had somebody to try and use the documents against, for example, their landlord. They tried to use the technique against their landlord because they didn't want to pay rent. You can't do that. This is what they said to me. They said, Diva, because of this COVID thing, I can't pay my rent and I couldn't work because the government trying to do this and the government trying to do that. And so, I'm gonna just I'm gonna do this to the house and then I don't have to pay it. And then, the landlord, he can't kick me out. Okay. I'm letting you know what's happening. Here's a situation where you've entered into a contract and you gave your word via signature that you were going to pay this landlord this amount every month. And instead of communicating with the landlord about the issue. You want to go and try to just block the landlord instead of going out and finding a way to honor your commitment to the landlord. You want to go and just block the landlord with a legal process whereby you don't have to honor your word. There's a problem with that. There's a problem with that because of the simple fact that even in this situation, you got the landlord that still got to pay the mortgage. And we're just talking about what y'all have heard the term equity. Y'all listen up. Equity, when they say equity, they're talking about fairness. Is it fair? All right. Is it fair that your landlord has to pay the mortgage and then you get to use the product and not pay the landlord? Is that fair? Before you say yes, I need you to put yourself in the position of the landlord, because the landlord still got to pay that mortgage on the house or what taxes or whatever it is, and you still using the property. If you was in the position of the landlord, would that be okay? If it's okay, if you in that position, then okay, then there's equity. But if it's not, which we know it's not going to be okay for somebody to be in your property and not paying you, if that's not okay, then it's not equity. All right. Halo new level. If you want to speak to me, leave a message in the inbox, and then I'll leave you a message about a consultation. Ampool says 20 maxims of equity. Yeah, there's some maxims. I'm not a big fan of the maxims of equity, but when we're talking about equity, it's all dealing with fair. What is fair? And if you put yourself in the other shoes and you okay with it, okay, do what you do. But if you know that you would be highly upset if somebody were doing the same to you, then it's not equity. And that's what we have to start understanding. Now, I get it. Y'all gonna say, well, you know, Diva, they cheating, they robbing us because we know they taking it from our account and all this. Okay, I get it. But you didn't know that before then. Now you know. But before, you had just been signing your name all over everything and then not honoring your word. My question to you is, once you get from up under this system with these documents, do you know how to be honorable? Do you know how to honor your words? That's the question. Because if you don't, you're not ready. So yeah, we can go and erase, get rid of it and do a for V and all of this. But have you learned how to be honorable? Here's the other thing. I want to go back to what I was saying, because if you are sovereign, as I was telling this guy who was trying to use this against his landlord, you don't be talking about what the government doing. That does not concern you. They're not even over you. As a sovereign, the government does not play no kind of roles in what you're doing in your life at all. Sovereign means, okay, I got to go over this so y'all understand what it means. What does sovereign mean? First of all, what does government mean? Down here, we're talking all the way down here, and then these are dead fictitious entities. These governments are under corporations. And then a citizen is under the government. What does government mean? Govern. To govern means to control. Ment means mind. Government means control of the mind. Control of the mind. When you're a citizen and you don't have knowledge of self and you're acting like a child, then you need a government. When you don't know how to be honorable and have integrity in your walk, you need a government, because you're not in control of your mind. You're not in your right mind. So government is going to show up for you. But when you are sovereign, sovereign means self-governed. You standing under God. You're standing under the higher laws. You're self-governed. And you know how to behave. You know how to control your energies. That's what sovereign means. You are in control of self. So if you're in control of self, you don't be blaming no government about how you can't make money when the money is right here. This is where the money is, in your mind. You self-govern, you are sovereign. Ain't nothing stopping you from getting what you need because you know how to think. You're sovereign. That's what the money is. All right? So if, again, I say to you, we're not here trying to, we want you to come member so we can get your money. Thank you, universe, for all that you've done for me. Thank you for helping me to manifest everything I desire. Thank you. And thank you for bringing beautiful people who are vibrating on the highest of frequency to the university and as members of UNA. Thank you. We want you to have the knowledge. We want you to have the knowledge. And if you are not a good fit, we will be happy to not take nothing you got. Not your money, not your time, not your energy. We don't want it. You got to be vibrating on a higher level, because when we talk about these documents here, this is you becoming a nation. You are a nation. And UNA is just a nation vouching for another sovereign nation as you get yourself in order. If you are not knowledgeable, if you're choosing to be ignorant, if you don't have integrity and you're not honest, we are not interested, because we can't build with you. Because we're looking at your credit report. We're not going to look at your credit report, but you're going to show it to us because you want some help. But if you're looking at your credit report, you got to be honest. Okay, I didn't show integrity right here. I didn't show integrity right here. I need to get my act together. You can't come at it as, oh, I'm angry because they was cheating and lying on us. No, you the one who signed that. You signed that contract saying, I'm going to pay you back. Now you gotta, as a spiritual being, deal with the fact that you said you were gonna pay them back. Now we deal with how we pay them back, because the money, again, is right here, the knowledge. Because we know how to create. I'm just gonna say it like that. If you want to contact us, thank you for the question. You can leave a message in the inbox or find the link in the bio for a consultation for either the university or the membership package. All right, whichever one you're interested in. You can find the link in the bio so that you can have a free consultation, and we can get you enrolled. By the way, classes start Monday, this coming Monday. And if you want to leave a message, you can leave a link in the bio. For my people on YouTube, y'all can find us at UNARepublic.com. All right, let me get back into this now, because now I'm ready to go on the spiritual side. I said, all right, the money is here, right here in your mind. And if you're telling me about how the government did this and so you couldn't do that, then you're not sovereign. And you're not acting as a sovereign, because you can't tell me how you want to be sovereign and then you concerned about what a government is doing. That's not how it works. Now, let's get into, we're talking about manifesting. All right. Talking about manifesting. When we're talking about bringing things to you and attracting things to you, well, that's what sovereigns do. We don't worry ourselves or get concerned with, oh, this is going on over here and I don't know where the money gonna come from. I'm going back to this now. Who you standing under? Who is your God? Who are you talking to? Do you have a higher spirit? Because when you do, and you know how to communicate, then you know how to get your spirits to bring you everything you need. Everything. Okay, because then the questions become, did you ask your spirits about, oh, my job, I lost my job. Did you ask your spirits to help you get a new one? Or to keep you from losing it, or help you get a raise? Did you ask? Or did you ask your spirits, universe, I don't even want to work for somebody. I prefer to do my own thing and make money doing this. Do you know how to manifest and bring the things to you that you vision? Do you know how to do that? Sovereigns do. Because we don't focus on lack. We know. Okay, I'll put this back up again. Right here. We know about the natural laws. We know that we live in abundance. No, I didn't say we believe. We know. KNOW. We vision it. We see it. We know it. We live in abundance right here. And because we live in abundance and we know it, our universe produces it for us. What God you talking to? Who you dealing with? Because the God I talk to, when I ask for something, as long as I have been in honor with these laws up here, universal laws, everything that I'm desiring is manifested. That's what sovereigns do. That's what sovereigns do. And those are the people who we deal with. They manifest. If y'all have any questions about law before I get out of here, please make sure you leave the comment in the comment section so that I can answer it. Druckfa says that part, God is diva. That part, okay. What? Okay, that all right. That part, love it. Say it again. Please repeat that. We all the way in the back. For those of y'all in the back, not paying attention, listen up. All right, get your honest and your integrity in order is what I'm trying to say. All right, when you're sovereign, there's 6 characteristics that you need to be concerned with: honor, integrity, respect. All right, honor, integrity, respect, love, compassion. It, Nepal, thank you, Nepal says, thank you for your insight. Much gratitude. Thank you for the love, Nepal. If y'all have any questions, hello, Happy Cat. Fish Float, thank you. Fish Float says, I do, you do what? Let me see. The Most High God. All right, Nepal. There is no government, it's the corporation. Absolutely, Anpu. There is no government. I'm going to get into that in a second. Thank you for that comment, Anpu. All right. Um, Let me get back to this. I'm gonna put my 6 down. All right. Love, compassion. All right. And honor. Honor, integrity, respect, love, and compassion. And there's another one in there. I'm gonna get it before I get out of here. Please talk about the sovereign passport versus regular passport. All right, I'll talk about that real quick. Thank you, Drupfa. All right. Each one teach one. All right, Nepal. Now, let me get into this question that somebody asked, and then I'm gonna. If you have any questions, once again, before I get out of here, ask them. I got time today. Now, when we get back in class, it's gonna be quick sessions, so make sure you take advantage of this. There is no government; it's a corporation. Okay, I want to get on that. Napoo is absolutely correct. Anpu rather is absolutely correct. So I'm going back to this hierarchy of law chart, and if you're wanting this, you can get the ebook at UNARepublic.com. All right, UNARepublic.com, and you'll scroll down and you'll find the ebook. Now, when we're talking about these so-called corporate governments, they're all down here under corporations. They're really not governments at all. How do we know they're not governments and they're private entities? Well, first of all, they all contract through the federal government. All right. And so they're private entities. They have to be private entities if they're trying to take money from you. So you're talking about the IRS. That's not even a governmental entity if they're talking about taking money, because the federal government is about giving you money. Remember, you got an estate. You got an estate. The government is the federal, rather, the federal is the one that's giving you funds. But you got a corporation called the IRS talking about taking money from you. The IRS, I need y'all to understand something, and I'm not going deep into this today, but I talked to my students about this all the time. How we understand what the United States corporation does is they're going to set up an entity right next to the federal government, which is there to give you money, and it's going to look and sound like the federal government, but it's not. And that's what it is. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples, then I'm going to keep it moving. But when we're talking about, for example, you walk into a post office, you're dealing with two different entities. Pay attention. You're dealing with a federal entity, and then you're dealing with an entity of the U.S. corporation, which is owned by Britain. All right. The United States Post Office is a federal entity. When we learn, we know we can send off mail and we're not really supposed to be paying for it. When you learn how to do it, you learn how to send off mail and you don't have to pay for it. And it's very much legal. But if you do business with this people over here, the United States Corporation or the United States Postal Service, then you're going to pay because they're a private entity. And what happens is the federal government contracts this government or this organization rather to provide services to the public. The federal government will contract with this government to provide services to the public. They're not supposed to be charging, but they're going to charge because that's what private entities do. All right. But when you know what's what and you know how to do business with the federal government, then you don't get charged. All right. It never happened to us, it happened for us. I'm not understanding that, Nepal. Please expound. LS or LZ is saying, paying attention. All right, LZ. Thank you, New Level Up. Thank you for the love. Nepal. Yeah, each one teach one. All right, so if y'all have any questions, please ask them. I'm gonna get on this question. I'm gonna get ready to get out of here if y'all not gonna ask me questions. Please talk about sovereign passport. All right. Briefly about the sovereign passport. Where is my pen? All right, so we got the sovereign passport. What we're talking about when we're talking about the passport, we're talking about a non-US passport. All right, now you've got some other companies that do provide passports as well. The issue with those other companies is that sometimes they're not accepted. All right, I'm not saying not to get them at all. I'm not saying that, but I'm just letting you know sometimes there's some places, some countries that won't accept them. And I personally was, I really didn't, but this is before I knew what was going on. I didn't want anything to say United States on it. I need to go back to this. You got a United States and you got a United States of America over here. United States is a foreign corporation that's inside of Washington, D.C. and owned by Britain, whereas the United States of America is the republic and it's really owned by the people. All right. So if you're not aware of the difference between these two, you're going to assume that they are the same when they are not. Just like some of y'all think the acronym AL is the same as Alabama. It is not. GA is not the same as Georgia. But you're writing this on your envelopes and you're not understanding that you're putting yourself under a jurisdiction or you're claiming to be under a jurisdiction that is foreign. Okay? New Level Up says, yes, they set us up for success. Well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, they take it, they are taking advantage. But when you know how to take over your estate, yeah, they set you up for success. So instead of being upset and angry about it, what you do is you learn to be grateful and take it over. All right. So let me get back to this. That's right, Rosa. Executrix. Let's see. Right, you have the right to write. You have to write out state and country, etc. Okay, thank you, King. So what King Russell is talking about is when we're talking about these acronyms for the state, they're not the same as the full name written out. And those of us who know and we're dealing in sovereignty and we're walking in the private, when we write a state on anything, it's going to have the word republic behind it to denote. It's going to say the full name written out: Tennessee Republic, Georgia Republic, Florida Republic, Texas Republic, because we're stating that we're dealing with the United States of America Republic and not the U.S. corporation. All right. Um, so I hope y'all understand that. Let's see. Now, we're going to go, I want to go into this about the passport. With the passport, you've got, if you filled out your passport documents and you have stated on there that your mother is a U.S. citizen or your father is a U.S. citizen, then that makes you a U.S. citizen. And let's pay attention to what I just said. I said U dot S dot, which is specifically denoting the corporation that is in Washington, D.C. and owned by Britain. Now, when you say on there, we learn to go in and fill those documents out in specific ways such that we're making it clear that we're sovereign. So now when you get your passport, it doesn't, you're not showing up as a citizen, but there are certain things that you have to put into place before you even do that, before they're even going to accept your passport, because you've got to show that, look, you're a nation. You got to show that you're a nation. When you're showing that, then there are certain things that they have to respect about what you're saying concerning your estate. All right. Thank you. Stay good. Stay good, bossed up. Thank you for the love. Rosa Fly says, how do I get a passport for my kid when the dad won't agree? Oh, Rosa. 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 Everything, and I mean everything starts at the trust, period. There is nothing that I know of that's more powerful than those documents. GQ says your SSN or your social security number is a corporation. Yes, it is. Does anybody have any questions before I get out of here? Uh, Thank you so much for the love, Drukpa. Everybody watching on YouTube, Halo, if you have not subscribed and you are watching, you should be ashamed of yourself. Go ahead and subscribe. Thank you all for sharing. I want to say thank you so much. If you're trying to reach out to us, you can either leave a message in the inbox. You can find the link in the bio. Okay. So we can get in contact with you. If you're wanting to become a part of the university, we've got 3 sessions. Listen, all these things that I'm talking about, let me first of all say this. We do provide educational information when you're getting this trust. And it's very important because we need you to know how to use these documents, use these tools. All right, we provide information for you on that. However, uh, the information you get here is not going to be everything you need to walk as a sovereign. It's going to be everything you need to know what these documents are and how to use them. But if you're really wanting to learn how to walk and what's really going on in this game, you got to come into the university. Listen, y'all are learning things lawyers don't know, judges don't know, accountants don't know. These people go to school for years. And you coming in here learning stuff that they don't get to learn. You think you just gonna learn it? I'm gonna get this in a couple of classes. No, you got to invest in it. If you really want to learn it, you really got to be willing to invest your time. You got to, yeah, you got to be willing to put some money in it. But I'm gonna tell you something. I just told you, you ain't learning this stuff at Yale and Princeton. How much how much they pay at Yale and Princeton? Just go on and look it up. For one season, and you want to complain to me about, you can't. Let me rephrase that, because my students, I got the greatest students. I'm just honored. So I have no complaints about my students. What I'm just saying to you is, when you're willing to invest, you're going to receive. You're going to receive. Thank you, King, for the love. Halo. All right. So, with that being said, you in think about joining the. Let me rephrase that. Join the university. If you're really wanting to be able to walk in your sovereignty, join the university so we can really get you the knowledge. You're learning things that these people out here don't know, and then we're showing you how to put it into existence, put it into work. We're not just talking about it; we're doing it. All right. I want y'all to know I love you. I appreciate you. I'm ready to get up out of here. Anybody have any other questions before I go? Going once, going. Uh, GQ says courts are banks. Yes, courts are banks. Uh, the post office is a bank. The bank is a court. Y'all gotta understand this game. The post office is where everything starts. I mean, as a matter of fact, and thank you for that, GQ. Y'all need to look up who the UPU is. That's the big dog. The post office be acting like, oh, we don't have any power, and that's where everything starts, with the post office. And the UPU, the the United Postal Union. That's the big dog. That's where everything starts. United Postal Union. They're the ones who running all this, and I think they are also behind the what I just talked to y'all about, the Hague. The Hague. The United Postal Union, they're the ones who where all the money is coming from. That's where everything starts. The post office is huge. You know, every country has a post office. That's why they want to have your address. They don't want you to have a post office box, because there's certain things they can't do with that post office box because it's federally protected. Y'all got to understand. And plus, they want to come after you. If you got a post office box, they can't come after you. But if you got your address on a document that they sign, then they come to your house. And they can do certain things because you've given them permission because of the documents you signed. They got to understand this game. But yeah, so GQ says the courts own the social security number. So GQ, I'm gonna go in with you on this real quick, and thank you for the comments. All right. I need y'all to understand something. These corporations cannot own anything. They can't own anything of value. And the question is, does your social security number have a value? You bet it does. And if it has a value, then they can't own it. The problem is you haven't claimed it. And so right now it's just waiting out in the matrix. And they get to control it as the trustee. They are just the trustee over the estate. That's all they are. They're the trustee. Now you get to fire them now that you've come into knowledge of self. And 18 U.S. Code uh, 3002, 18 U.S. Code subsection 3002, it says the court always open rule. I'm not sure where you're going with that. But who is the court? I want y'all to understand something. You are the court. This is the court. You create the court. I don't know what you're talking about with this 18 rule, because it doesn't have anything on it. And they have a tendency to take down these codes. So let me see if I can find it here. But when I look up 18 USC, I'm just trying to pull this up real quick. But yeah, they have a tendency, especially when it's a powerful code, they will delete it on because a lot of times we're looking at, what's the name of this college, Cornell College, and they'll take that information off of there. especially when it's a powerful code. So I'm going to see if I can pull it up real quick with this other resource. All right. Um, it says, as used in this chapter, the term person means a natural person, including an individual. All right. The term personal property means property of any kind, except a real property or things in action. The term state includes the District of Columbia, the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, the Commonwealth of Northern Marianas, and any territory possession of the United States. Okay, so that's all I have on that. This section of the U.S. Code definition for key terms used in this chapter. If you have any specific questions, or if there's no more information you're looking for, feel free to ask. Okay, so that's all I have on this. The definition of person, it says in this particular definition means, hold up one second. It says it means a natural person, including individual Indian, a corporation, a partnership, or unincorporated association or estate or any other entity. So let me tell y'all something. When they talk about person, please note they talking about a dead entity. All right. They really not talking about you. Y'all check that SF 181 form. They like a person of. They talking about a dead fictitious entity of. And if you calling yourself a person or a citizen, you've called yourself a dead fictitious entity of. But getting back to this, these corporations cannot own anything of value. When you're talking about the U.S. corporation, again, it is simply a credit union, and it's a dead entity. And so what you got to understand is that they are just a trustee, but once you take over ownership, they don't have the authority to do all these things they've been doing to you. All right, I hope that's clear. I am getting ready to get out of here. Does anybody else on YouTube have any questions? Because I'm ready to get out of here. Thank you for the love, Drakfa. Thank you for showing up. Let's see, anybody have any questions? Let's see. Thank you for the love, GQ. 700, thank you for the love, Universal Sister. Welcome. How do you get your social security number for ownership? How do you get your social security number for ownership? If you're asking me how do you take over ownership of your social security number, thank you for that question. I think that was Michael. A trust. This is how you take over ownership of your social security number, a trust. And I don't know anything more powerful than this, other than you having the mental fortitude to wield this tool. Now you got to have knowledge of it. You can't just go, I got some paperwork, I'm free. That's not how it works. You got to have knowledge of this. All right. So this is how you take it over. If you're interested in a membership package or a trust, I want you to find the link in the bio. You're going to register, or let me see, sign up for a free consultation. All right. Also, don't forget we have the UNA University. It's worth its weight in everything, gold or whatever you want to call it. It's worth it, because what you're going to have is someone who can answer your questions. You're going to have someone who's there to guide you. If you've been in this thing for 5 and 10 and 15 years, please don't come to me talking about how much you think you know if you don't already have your trust set up. You really don't. And I encourage you to get into the university so we can help you. Stop playing around. Let's get it done. All right. I just told you, Michael, send us a message. All right. What you're going to do is send a message, leave your name and number so we can get back to you. Or you can find the link in the bio and schedule an appointment for a free consultation. The university starts on Monday. I want to see you in class. All right. I hope y'all are appreciating this information. I'm so happy that the universe gives me the opportunity to share this with you. As much as we complain about these social media platforms and all that they do, listen, Let's be grateful because I don't get to see y'all beautiful people and you don't get to see beautiful me without these platforms. So I'm grateful to them. I'm grateful to you for wanting to know the information. Join the link, find the link in the bio, and let's become a part of UNA University. If not, find somebody or find somewhere to get the help that you need.
UNA University for me.
I have it.
UNA.
All right, new level.
UNA.
Give a hug.
Paradise. All your life. University.
We'll see y'all next time. Stephen Reed.
All your dreams.
I will see
And it's home. On your own.
Bye bye.
Every day.
Y'all sing with
No
me.
more way. UNA University for me.
Yes, yes, yes.
UNA.
UNA.